Hey guys, WalterFootball.com video here. I'm going to be talking about 3 new NFL teams to win the division this year. These are teams that did not win the division last year and are currently underdogs to win the division. So if you want to bet on them, you can make a pretty penny on them. So we're going to get into that. Before I do, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. Closing in on 5,000 subs, so any subs would be really appreciated. You can check out WalterFootball.com for tons of new content every single day. We have fantasy rankings, we have picks against the spread, not just the NFL, with college football, basketball, we have baseball, home run prop bets, we have NFL mock drafts, we have grades for every signing, every coach hiring and firing, and every trade. So all the content's free at walterfootball.com, so check that out. All right, so we're going to begin here and not talk about the AFC East because obviously the Bills are going to win it, and same thing with the AFC North. I think the Ravens will win it. The first division we're going to get to is the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the AFC South at plus 300. Now, keep in mind, you can get better odds potentially at other sports books on the homepage of walterfootball.com. We have a link to get some great bonus bets and some profit boosts and stuff at sports books. If you use a promo code there, you can check it out. Definitely do that because the more sports books you have, the better deals you can get. So, this plus 300 could be a plus 325 or something at DraftKings or BetMGM or Caesars or whatever. So make sure you get the best price. I can't stress that enough. But anyway, I like the Jaguars potentially win the AFC South. I think this is almost like 50-50. So to get plus 300 is a pretty good deal. I initially liked the Texans a little bit more to win the division to start the offseason, but a couple of things happened to change that. One, CJ Stroud now has some sort of shoulder issue, some shoulder soreness or something. He's not practicing right now. Now, this could be much ado about nothing. Like, he could be back in practice in 3-4 weeks, and we'll all forget about it. But, something in my head kind of reminds me of Christian McCaffrey last year, where McCaffrey had this calf issue. He was questionable for week 1. All the time, we just heard every single report go, not a big deal, not a big deal. He'll be fine. He can play week 1. If not week 1, maybe week 2, and then week 2 rolls around. It's like, maybe week 3, and then it keeps getting pushed back, and he only played 4 games. Anytime I hear something like that, especially for a shoulder with a quarterback, it kind of worries me. So I just don't know. That's one issue. And obviously the offensive line, this is not quite the second one, but the offensive line took a big hit in the offseason. We know all about that. And the blocking is going to be a lot worse for CJ Stroud. With Laremy Tunsil gone, this is a huge deal. So that kind of evens the playing field between the Texans and the Jaguars, who have a new head coach. They're going to have Trevor Lawrence healthy for the first time in 2 years. So they're going to have a chance to overtake the Texans for the division. And Travis Hunter being there helps. But the second thing that changed, this is not like a huge name. Like most people, I think, would be listening to this and be like, who's that? The Jaguars signed Dennis Gardeck, who actually was a pretty good pass rusher for the Cardinals. The Jaguar pass rush, despite having 2 talented edge rushers, was not pretty high in pressure rate last year. So to get someone like that to help out, I think is definitely a big deal, especially when things are so close between these 2 teams. So, and I'll highlight the Jaguars here at plus 300. I think they're a good bet, given that it's like pretty much 50-50 in my opinion. So we're going to scroll down. The Chiefs are not going to lose AFC West, despite people calling for someone to overtake them, whether it's the Chargers or Broncos. I haven't heard Raiders, but the Chiefs, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're not going to decline very much. The Eagles, I think, should win the NFC East. I like the Redskins, but I would still favor the Eagles. Now we get to the second pick here, and the Detroit Lions are favored to win the division. They won last year. They're 15-2. They're plus 150 right now. The team I like, and I mentioned this team in the 3 most underrated teams in the NFL video that I did about 2 weeks ago, and I'll post a link in the top comment of this video. It's the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, I love their roster. I think they have a top 3 roster in the NFL. The only question is quarterback, and I saw Russ Tucker knock the Vikings just because they let go of Sam Darnold or something, and there's a big question mark with J.J. McCarthy. But, I mean, guess who was a question mark last year? It was Sam Darnold. I mean, no one gave the Vikings a chance. When McCarthy went down, it's kind of funny how that works out. McCarthy was supposed to be the starting quarterback. He gets injured, and then it's Sam Darnold. Everyone writes off the Vikings. Their win total was 6.5. I was way wrong about them. I took the under. That was definitely a wrong pick. They were amazing last year. They went 14-3. They had a great defense on the Brian Flores, as long as they didn't go against Matthew Stafford who eats up their blitz. Their offensive line was solid last year. They had 2 star receivers. good running back in Aaron Jones, and great coaching overall. But what changed this year is that they added 3 new offensive linemen, 2 in free agency. They got Will Fries and Ryan Kelly from the Colts. Then they added a first round guard, Donovan Jackson. So their offensive line could easily be in the top 3 this year. Their defense is still going to be as good as it was last year. I don't see why that would drop off. TJ Hawkinson's going to be healthy all year. Remember, he didn't play the first half of last year because of the torn ACL. And then you have McCarthy, which, again, it's a big question mark, but this is Kevin O'Connell's Tampa guy. And Kevin O'Connell knows a thing or two about offense. He's an offensive guru. I think he knows what he sees in McCarthy, and I'd be surprised if McCarthy busts. And really, they just need McCarthy to be average. Sam Darnold, despite the stats he posted last year, wasn't all that great. He was solid, and everyone else carried him. McCarthy has more upside, I think, at this point. So I think the Vikings could definitely win this division. It's a tough one, though. I mean, I think, if you were to tell me, if you come back from the future, you would tell me, any of these 4 teams won the division, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe the Bears a little bit, but I still think they could win it because of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams' upside. But right now, I would favor Minnesota, and frankly, I would say Green Bay is probably second with Detroit's offensive line issues. I also did a video about Frank Ragnow's retirement. The third team I want to talk about here is the Atlanta Falcons at plus 220. This, I think, is a true coin flip. I really don't see a difference between these teams. The Buccaneers last year won the division, but they were way behind to start the year. Atlanta swept them, and it looked like Atlanta was going to run away with the division, but then Kirk Cousins started throwing interception after interception. So brutal. He was so bad last year. And then Michael Penix came in, and then they saw upgraded quarterback play. Even though Penix wasn't that great, he had some nice moments. He wasn't that great overall. He was still so much better than Kirk Cousins. So now that he's going to have experience, I think that he could have a solid year behind a good offensive line, some good weapons on offense. You have Drake London, Bijan Robinson, stuff like that. Their defense added a few pass rushers this offseason. They took 2 in the first round in James Pierce and Jalen Walker, and then they signed Leonard Floyd. I think those are some great additions to their defense. They upgraded the secondary as well. I think this is a really good team. And I think this is a coin flip because Tampa is going to be a little bit worse this year. They lost their offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen. Now maybe they replaced Dave Canales with Liam Cohen. So maybe they'll find another great offensive coordinator. But really, I mean, how many times can they can lightning strike? I feel like Tampa at some point is going to decline. Mike Evans is in his 30s now. Godwin is coming off injury, and this defense overall is not that good. So I think Tampa is due for some regression. I think Atlanta is going to be better this year, and I think that it might come down to the wire. It might come down to the final week. And if you're getting plus 220 here on what I think is a coin flip, I think that's great. The last division I'll touch on this. The Rams are actually underdogs now. They were favorites to win this division. I don't know why this flipped. I guess good news on McCaffrey, but I would still take the Rams. But they don't really meet our criteria because they won the division last year. So those are 3 teams: the Jaguars, Vikings, Falcons, to win the division, and you get 53 to 1 odds if you parlay all of them to win their division. So you bet $100, you get $5,300. So that sounds pretty nice. I don't know if we're going to do that, but it does sound intriguing. So all right, that's it for this video. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store, and once again, please visit walterfootball.com for tons of new content every single day. The content's free. But yeah, we're going to post a new video tomorrow. So I will talk to you.